Okay, we are live. I'm going to test to see if you guys can actually hear me. All right, here we go. Cool. Awesome. So now I'm going to refresh that. Okay, here we go. Great. All right, we're live. So we just did a podcast today. We have my wife, myself on the podcast, and we talked about playing chess. We talked about our goals in 2025, how we conquered, and we actually did more than we thought we would, which was incredible because our goal really was just to move into a house and start a business. And we ended up doing so much more than that. Let's see here. Refresh that. Look at the comments. And then here's your chance, if you're out there watching this, to jump on and ask questions that you may have or may not have about business. How to start a business. Why should you start a business? Of all the things you should do. How to do it while you're working, while you're collecting a paycheck. That's great. It's really good stuff. So that's where we're at. Let's see here real quick. Instagram. All right, cool. So I've been going kind of live periodically, jumping on here. I know we have busy lives. It's January. It's time to get back at it. Um, you're really busy, especially when you're what I call in the matrix. You're in the matrix, you're trapped, you have bills to pay, you're paycheck to paycheck, or you have a little bit of savings, you're doing a little bit of investings, but you really don't know what it's like to make $150,000 in a month. Is that even possible, or is that just crazy? And I think the reason why I decided to do this live streaming is really to give people the opportunity. I'm hearing myself over here. Oh, what's going on? Let's see here. Oh, hold on. There we go. All right, cool. I heard myself and I was like, what the heck is that? So you're trapped in the matrix. You're working paycheck to paycheck, and you're like, is there even possible to make $150,000 in a month? Could I start a business and actually do that? Well, I think the truth is yes, you can, just like that. And you don't have to be on the job, and you don't have to have a crazy investment. What you have to have is strategy. What you have to have is a plan. You have to have a systemized plan, and you have to have certain things set in place. And that's just the way it is. It's like if you wanted to build a car, you couldn't just keep dreaming about building a car. You actually have to have certain things set in place to build that car. And then lo and behold, you build the car, right? You wanted to do the dishes, you have to have a certain thing set in place to do the dishes, right? And then once you get after it, then you're starting to do the dishes. So here's a chance for you to jump on here and ask me questions that you may have. I'm going to raise up my chair a little bit. I'm going to do this on a regular basis. It's going to be awesome. And it's your chance. It's your chance to jump on here, ask the questions you have. And like I said, I'm going to get on here for 10 minutes. And if nobody asks a question, I'm jumping off. And if somebody asks a question in 10 minutes, then I'm going to go for 30 minutes. And then I'm going to jump off. So this is your chance. I know a lot of guys reach out to me and they want to get on these one-on-one phone calls, and they're scared to death, honestly, to ask their questions in public. But here's really where it works, because you're going to have a question, I'm going to answer it, and then it's going to stir something up in someone else, and then they're going to ask a question, and then you can watch these videos on replay, even though I haven't been sharing them publicly, but I will eventually. So we'll see. But yeah, let's go. Okay. All right, that's it. So we'll wait. Delicious espresso. That's it. Let's see if old Steven will jump on. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's interesting. I actually don't think that you can add anybody on. I'd have to invite them as a guest. Okay, now I see how it works. Let's see if this is the case. I'm going to try this. This is pretty cool. So I'm going to jump off of here. If you missed it, I was letting the audience know that you can get on here and ask me questions about business. So here we go. This is what it is. It's the time. It's time in 2026 for you to get off your ass and do something you ain't never done and watch your life change. My life changed. My life changed tremendously. And it was no easy road for me. You know, I didn't really know that there was coaches out there. I didn't really look up coaches. I was just one of those guys that I just jumped off the cliff. I think I was really young when I got into entrepreneurship. You know, in my late 30s, I'm not doing anything without coaching anymore. I've taken too many risks. I've failed way too many times. And even when I'm doing my horizontal scaling, while I'm getting in the different markets, I get coaches. I can't even help it. So if you're on here and you want to ask about business, let's say you have an idea. You're like, how do I implement this idea, take it to market, and do it without doing the work? Obviously, I can tell you how to do the work too, because I've done both. It doesn't take money, folks. Here's Steven. I'm going to add him to the stage. So here's Steven.
What's up?
What?
It's bright. Hold on. It's dark for me.
Yeah, turn them cab lights on.
Yeah.
See? It's all good. I can see you perfect.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so what do you got going on?
Just got done eating dinner.
Oh, sweet. Over at the house?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Dude, it's freezing, right? You isn't.
Yeah, that's why I came out to the truck instead of the shop.
Well, for the rest of us, it's freezing. For you, it's probably perfect. Is it cold or no for you?
Yeah, it's cold.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this morning I got in my truck in Nashville and it was 17 degrees. I don't know what it was like down in Franklin.
Yeah, I didn't even look, honestly.
It was 17.
I don't know.
Dude.
It was. Yeah.
So Evelyn goes to the co-op and I took her to school and they didn't have school. So.
Oh.
And I didn't think to look at the calendar either. I never do that. I guess she doesn't either though. And Nara was sleeping, so yep.
Heck yeah.
We kind of have me and Evelyn kind of have our own little regiment. But I'm going live, dude, because me and you first started talking about. Oh, dude, you don't even have to worry about that. Like we can see you just fine.
Okay.
Yeah, like I can see you just fine. I know I'm super lit up, but it's all good. I'm just sitting in front of a big screen. You already know that. But like a year ago, did you think that you could start a bit? Like, did you think that you would do $500,000 in 6 months with a brand new business?
Definitely not. No.
So what I was. No, go ahead.
It wasn't even a thought that was even possible, actually.
Right? And it's like, dude, walk me through some of your thoughts you had, and you have to pretend like you don't know what you know. What did you think about going into business before you met me and before we actually did it?
I was a little nervous because I'm sitting here thinking like I'm about to start up a business. I have no experience. I've never ran a business before. I've been in like leadership roles, but it's not like where your life would like your livelihood was dependent on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
there we go.
And it was just it was kind of wild, actually. It was like, oh shit, here we go.
But before that,
shit got real.
Before you met me, what was your ideas of business?
My ideas of business were like in our field.
No, just period. Just like when you were sitting there on your job, did you ever think about starting a business? Maybe you didn't, maybe you did. I don't know. I'm asking.
I've always wanted to start a business and be a business owner. For me, I just never knew how to do it. I never knew what to do, how I could do it, how to even start.
And what did you think? Did you think, oh, you got to have money, you got to get investors?
Yeah.
Like, what did you think?
I thought you had to have money. Yeah, I did. Money, or at least investors or somebody backing you with money. Either that, or if you had a great idea that you invented something and you were selling a product, well, then you'd have to get that product out there, and that was kind of marketing. But other than that, like a service or something like that, I'm thinking, yeah, you got to have money. You got to be able to get equipment and tools and, whatever it is that you're doing.
Yep.
You got to be able to have all that stuff.
Yep.
And then you got to start, getting clients and stuff and customers.
And how do you do that?
It's like, how do you even go about doing that other than if you know a lot of people,
So knowing what you know now, so In the Trench is my brand, you know that. And In the Trench, I'm going to say it 1,000 times, is basically you're sitting on a cliff and it's called the Matrix. And the Matrix is designed to keep you trapped. So, and I'll tell you why. It's real simple. So you pay your taxes, you pay your bills, right? That's really it. It's to pay your taxes and pay your bills and be a good little boy. Make sure you do that.
Yeah.
Because all the guys who are making money are not doing that. They're completely not doing that at all. They're completely cheating the system, and it's moral and it's legal. It's both perfectly okay, but I think that the employee doesn't know that. Like the
Right.
employee doesn't know that you can. It's called a structure. So employees are sole proprietors. They don't even know that, and they're taxed at the highest tax bracket. They don't know that. They don't know that they have a job, they pay their bills, they pay their taxes, and then they buy liabilities, and it's a vicious cycle that never ends, right? And you're only 6 months in the business, so you
Yeah.
haven't even had a full cycle of what this looks like.
Right.
You're still learning, right? Like in all reality, and
Absolutely.
we've had ups and downs, even in the 6 months. But so what I always tell people is that in the trench is where you jump off the cliff, and the reason why you're jumping off a cliff is because you don't have the skills to run a business. So what would you say if you were to go back when you were getting out of the Marine Corps? What would you say the skills that you would have acquired while you were in the Marine Corps? What would you have learned?
Leadership, working with people,
Like networking or
yeah,
team building?
team building,
Okay.
team building, uh, organization,
Okay. Systems and processes.
right?
Okay.
Getting things dialed in, how things should work,
I love it.
operating.
Okay. And I'll add to that list for anybody's out there watching. This is all great. I would have learned sales. I would have learned marketing. I would have learned social media. And sales. Let's go into sales. I mean, Nara took a sales course recently, and I watched her systematically close a $22,000 deal over the phone, and that was incredible. That was like really awesome to see. And like I've been in sales, so my first sales experience was I was a combat instructor, and this guy came to me before I even got out, so I was collecting a steady paycheck. Um, I was making 3 to 4,000. I can't remember exactly. It's been a long time, but about $4,000 every 2 weeks, which is a lot of money for a Marine, right?
Oh yeah.
$2,000 a week is pretty much what I was making, and that was with combat. That was with all the special duty pay. I had basic allowance for housing, so I was getting paid $2,400 a month for my mortgage. But my mortgage was only $1,200, and then I was renting out my house for $1,850, and I was living in $1,000 studio with all bills, with all utilities paid for. And a guy came to me and said, "Hey, there's a guy who is selling solar, and you get paid 20% commission." And they were walking us through how this worked. It's like, well, it's really simple. It's like if you have, let's say the commercial, because they were talking commercial. They said if a commercial business owner is paying $2,500 to $3,000 a month on utilities, you could get him down where he's paying $1,200 a month with utilities and have a 30% tax credit. What is it called? Tax credit. So let's say the system, and I think it was like 20 to 30% of the government would give you a 20 to 30% tax credit. So I go in, I offer a $100,000 system. Their payment's going to be $1,200 a month, and they get a 20% tax bracket on that, whatever that turns out. I don't have my phone with me. Let me look that up. So 100 grand, let's just say it's 20%.
20,000.
Yeah, $20,000. So they got a $20,000 tax credit, which means like they just got $20,000. So that sell was a really easy sell. And by the way, it was. So I think we brought like 150. Because what I did was I got on Google and I started looking at every small business that could benefit from this. And this is what I did. I showed up without any sales experience, and I said, your name is Bob, right? And they're like, yeah. And I remember, I'm a combat instructor. I'm high as a damn kite. You can only imagine. Like, I'm fresh in it, dude. I got a massive dip in my mouth. I'm wearing a combat hoodie, a combat instructor hoodie with shorts, and I was driving. The fuck was I driving back then? It was a 2013 Cummins Mega Cab. That's what I was driving. I pulled up there and I walked in and I said, "Hey, who's your general manager?" And they said his name's Bob. I said, "I have a meeting with Bob to discuss a project that we got going on for this building. Is he in the office?" That's how I talked. So a good old employee, what do they do? Oh my God, I better go get Bob because he has a meeting. They go get Bob, and I say, Bob, we had a meeting today. And he's like, who are you? I'm like, I'm Brian with a solar company down the road, and we're supposed to discuss doing solar on your guys' project. He's like, oh, they were discussing that in the board meeting. This is typically how the conversation went. He goes, all right, come back here. I said, I need your 12 months utility bill. And then what I'm gonna do is and this is how I did it. I didn't say, hey, are you guys interested in solar? I never did that shit, dude. I was like, you're gonna give me these fucking utility bills because I'll tell you why. I'm getting excited about this. I'll tell you why. Because when they showed me 20% commission, dude, Steven, just kind of put yourself in my shoes, dude. You already know.
Yeah.
I'm making almost no money now, and I'm working 80 hours a week, maybe even 90. I'll tell you how I was working. I was working from 4:30 in the morning until midnight every fucking day, and I was making nothing. You already know. So $150,000 system, 20% commission is $30,000. My first commission check was 12 grand on a $54,000 project, and I got 12 grand just by closing the deal, dude. It was exhilarating. That's why I walked in there like I was going to murder everybody, dude. I was like, I wanted that money. I wanted to taste it. I wanted to dive in it. You know, I really did, man. I was after it. So I'd go into that meeting and I'd basically get their 12 months, and then I'd put together a package, a proposal. So all I had to do was get the 12 months. I sent that over to Robert. Robert designed the system. I'd come back and have a board meeting, and they would like, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's get this done. They were excited about it. That's as easy as that was. So that was my first sales experience, and dude, I was fucking mean, dude. Like I remember a homeowner. We had to get HOA approval for this bullshit system. It was like $23,000, like whatever that is. So 23,000. Let me look at the math. 23,000 times 20%. So $4,600. You know, I wasn't really excited about that, even though that's a lot of money for some people, right? But I was looking at really big numbers with commercial. My camera's going out. Okay. But I remember going to the homeowner, and he's like, what if I don't want him to get solar? And I would fucking chew his ass, dude, like a Marine, dude. Like, what the fuck you mean? I said, who are you to decide? And then the sales guy who was training me, he was like, dude, you can't do that, man. That was me. I was rough, dude. I did not give a damn, dude. And the commercial people loved me. I'd go in there with salespeople, and they'd be in a suit, all acting proper. And I'm sitting there like, hey, do you mind if I dip in here? He's like, I don't care. And I, get a big dip, stick it in my mouth. And he's like, and they were always like, and let me say this too. I'm getting excited about this. I didn't realize I was going to get excited. I sit in my office because I had an office upstairs in my house, and I studied solar for 6 months straight. I watched probably 150 hours of YouTube videos about everything there was about solar. I started designing solar panels. I started going to installs and looking at how they were installed. I mean, I knew it inside and out. I understood how to build it. I understood how to wire it up. I understood actually, I didn't understand any of the install process. It was just all the technical terms. I never did. To this day, I don't know how to install solar. I don't know how to hook the panels up. And I never did that. I always let the team do that. But what we did was, are you still there? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What we did was, though, I'll tell you how we built this company with no money, $0. We created a badass brand, kind of like Charlie Company. It was called Armed Forces Solar, AFS, and it was a badass logo. And we partnered with a network marketing company that had 200 sales reps, and we were their commercial installer. And all I did was I went into California, and I started getting contracts with local installers that would install the solar at 30 cents a kilowatt. And there was about 50 cents left per kilowatt for us, the sales team. And then we split that up with the commission. So 20% would go to the sales reps, and me and Robert would get the other 30%. We'd split that. So 15-15. Well, this is how we did it. So we didn't have the license. We didn't have to install it. All we did was secure the contract, get the financing, get it approved, get the initial deposit, give the initial deposit to the install team. And then they installed it. We gave them the other 30%. And then the 50% was ours at the end. That was badass, right?
Yeah.
But we did that with no money. So to go back to what I was asking you, the skill set that you would have to acquire is really this: systems and processes, team management, like you said, leadership, sales, and marketing. That's really all you need to know. And the problem with a lot of people is that they haven't sat down to ask themselves, what are the skills that I've acquired? All I know how to do is work with my hands. And what would you have to say to someone listening, like, if that's all you knew how to do?
You need to learn those skills.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of loaded that one, didn't I?
Yeah.
But what would you say, like if you were talking to someone, if you were talking to your younger self, how would you sit down? Because your stubborn ass wouldn't listen to you. How would you talk to yourself if you went back in time and you had to talk to Steven?
I would sit there and be like, look, dumbass, you could have a real opportunity here if you buckle down and start learning some of this stuff and go through what you need to learn and say, not just learn it, but implement it. And it will 100% make you a better person and set you up to be more successful.
Yeah, because I can kind of see why when guys get out of the military, they're transitioning, why they go get a job. Because they don't have these skills. They don't even know where to start. They don't know how to start a business.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do what I did, fucking go through a divorce. Because I went through a divorce, and it was because of money. That was it. I'm realizing now that the reason why I went through a divorce was because of money. That was it.
Yeah.
She was used to that stable life, stable paycheck, medical, dental, and then all that got taken away from her. And she's like, I don't like the future of this.
Right.
Because it's, a business is all up and down. It can be.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. So super cool. Well, like what I'm doing here is I'm going live. And if somebody has a business question, and I think what I'm doing is I'm going live regularly so people can get comfortable with talking about business. Because how often do me and you talk about business?
Every day.
Every day, right?
Every day,
single
like
day.
all day.
All day. Now, for the
Yeah.
civilians out there watching, how much do they talk about business?
None.
When you were truck driving, right? And you guys were on the radio, how often did you talk about business and growth and expansion?
Never.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna create an opening where people can start fucking opening their mind up and getting comfortable about talking about business. Fuck. It's unreal to me.
Well, like I was telling you, dude, I always wanted to be a business owner or had thought about it or wanted to do something on my own, but never knew how to. And I can't sit here and say, you can't sit here and tell me that I'm the only one that thinks about this. No, there's got to be plenty of people out there that's like, I would love to have my own business and do my own thing and, grow and all that stuff. But, they don't. Nobody talks to them about the information ain't out there. You don't get help.
No, I'm with you. Or you got to pay for it.
Yeah. Yep.
So one of my old friends, I grew up with this guy. I talk about business. It's like, man, that's awesome, and I think you should.
Yeah.
And it's like, my question to you, Jake, if you're watching, is who are you talking to business with? Right? That's important. Are you talking to people like? Do you talk about business, and do you talk to people who've actually done it, who can say that's a dumbass idea? I see where you're coming from, but it doesn't make sense. I would stretch you to think like this. I think that's also important, right?
Yeah.
I have a couple mentors that I reach out to all the time, and dude, they chew my ass. They make me feel very little. And I've been in this game since 2015. And I think that's isn't that the truth? It's like you need to talk about business, but to stretch that even farther, you need to talk about business to guys that are doing way better than you. You need to get into a better realm.
Yeah.
That's what I would have to say.
You become who you're surrounded by, right?
I really believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if you're talking to someone about business, like, yeah, man, that's a good idea, man. And then you talk to someone like me, and I'm like, that's a stupid ass idea. It'll never work.
Yeah.
The way you're thinking about going about this is dumb. And it's like, fuck, it is. It's like, it is. It's dumb. I wouldn't do that.
Right.
Something interesting.
Yeah.
And then you got to see, yeah, he said that's fair. Well, it's almost like this, right? It's like if you're talking about business on a regular basis, right? what business have you started?
Yeah.
Right? Because me and you talked about business for a year before we started Charlie Company.
Yeah.
So I was in Brazil, so we didn't even have an opportunity to do it. But dude, as soon as I got here, it wasn't long.
No, it didn't take long. We're like, we're doing it. Let's
Fucking
go.
doing it. I remember us starting with $0. Like we had a couple $100 that we ran in ads, right? Like nothing, pennies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we got some guys from a different city. They had to travel a fucking hour away. These were the guys that we had to rely on, and they had a shitty truck.
Oh
And
yeah.
they had their tools. And they started banging out jobs, dude. And like we didn't buy tools. We didn't buy anything. We just got leads.
Yeah.
Service the leads, close the deal, had them finish it, collect the check.
Yep.
And we just created systems and processes, and people started having a 5-star experience from day one.
Yeah.
And we didn't do the jobs, not even one.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think that
I
you
think
didn't do it.
I think a lot of I want to add that starting a business too, with all the planning and everything that goes into it, you do need that. You need to talk about it, you need to plan for it, you need to organize for it. But I want to say that the number one thing I think that is the biggest fucking deal is you got to believe. And you really need to believe in yourself, believe in what you're doing, and just fucking go for it.
Yeah, you've had to really dig in this year. I think you've been the most uncomfortable you probably have ever been in your entire life. Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would say that for sure. Hands down. Yeah.
because it's like you have no like people say, what's the projections for next month? It's like, bitch, we're in 1 year. We're in the first year of business. We don't know the projections.
Yeah, you don't
You
know.
have to you have to do the year, and then you know the projections.
Yeah,
And we're 6 months in. We're not even in a full year. We haven't even done a full cycle.
right.
And let's be honest, we had a great November and December. January was shit.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yep.
I don't know what the numbers are. I'm thinking that January is going to be somewhere around 30 unless we close these deals that's on the pipeline. Now, if we close these deals on the pipeline, then we'll be somewhere around 70, and that's a good month. So
Yeah.
I'm just thinking there's probably guys on here like you have $20,000 on the books. It's like, yeah, man, we do. We probably do. 25. It's like, fuck, dude, I don't even have 5,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get that too. And I think that, dude, to be honest with you, we started Charlie Company with an unfair advantage, and the unfair advantage was us.
Yeah.
It was the three of us.
Right.
So let's talk about that for a second. Talk about the culture of Charlie Company. Did we have people wanting to backstab us? Like, talk about the culture that we made sure that we dialed in from day one.
I think from day one, the biggest thing we harped on about was communication with the homeowner. I
What
mean, it
about
was
the
such.
culture? What about the culture? Like, what I mean by here, I'll be more elaborate. When I was building business back in the day, I can't tell you how many guys wanted to slit my throat and they couldn't wait to see the company fail.
No,
Now
I
with
see where
Charlie
you're going with
Company,
it.
say that again.
I see where you're going with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, loyalty, dude. Yeah, the culture that we built it's a team, it's family, it's loyalty. I
like
mean,
I really
it's
believe that when people went home, they weren't talking shit about us.
no, not at all.
And I can't tell you how many times in my old companies that people were absolutely talking, like they were literally talking shit about me and my family.
Yeah.
And I think we did a really good job at recruiting. I think we did a good job at systems and processes, at branding, at social media. We hit about 40 million views in 4 months when the marketing team took over, which is our marketing team. But yeah, it's the unfair advantage, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
But
And this year,
these people that if they wanted to join, dude, they could start off with an unfair advantage and just run with it,
yeah,
right? I
yeah.
mean, think about getting yourself into a room with like-minded people that are wanting to talk about business and wanting to grow, and you're putting yourself in a different room like you always talk about. And then you've got, people like you and me jumping on here, giving advice, you know, talking about how business is. I mean, that's an unfair advantage to get started with.
Yeah. And you have to have it.
If there would have been something like this years ago, I think I definitely would have tried it.
Yeah, dude. I look at all the years that I was proud and I wanted to do it on my own and I had to figure it out on my own. I'm thinking about me right now. I'm 37 years old, and anything I do, because we started 2 other companies, I'm getting coaching. I'm like, I ain't trying to guess shit. Right?
Yeah, fuck the
It's like,
lone wolf stuff, dude. Fuck it.
no, it's like, I'm going to pay for the coaching. I'm going to get the right advice because I know what it takes. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
like Nora, she took a sales training. It was like, I don't remember how much it was. I think it was like $4,000. Like, I really can't remember, but it was like somewhere around there, four to $5,000. And she closed a $22,000 deal right after she graduated on a phone call. So this is what it looked like. I'm just going to walk you guys through it. The way our company works is we do a pre-qualification. So basically, we're figuring out if this is an A client, a B client, or a C client. A client is like, I love to get to hire professional services, and I don't care to pay more. B is a customer that wants the cheapest price. Or no, hold on. B is someone who's like, I want all that, but price is still critical. And what that basically means is they're just trying to be nice. That price is the only thing that matters. And then a C customer is where they're like, I only care about price. So
Yeah.
the B and A are people that we can mold if we do the right sales call to get them to be A. That's the whole goal. And I'll tell you what's going on in the industry right now. I think it's good that we can talk about this, too. I feel like a little bit of back and forth is good because we haven't had this talk today.
Yeah.
Nard did a phone call today, and I'm going to get back to that. So if you guys are watching, just stick with me. Nard did a phone call today, and the homeowner said, I don't really like how I had to jump through all these hoops to get on a phone call. So let me go back before I get into that. You guys are going to have to catch up with me. I have a lot of thoughts going on. The way we do it is pre-qualification, site inspection, sales call. So the pre-qualification is to figure out ABC. The site inspection is to figure out, first of all, the job scope, and second of all, how much money's on the table. That's what we look for. We look for things like that lady's house that we went to go quote for a painting job. Her house was already painted. It wasn't like something that looked like it was falling apart. So she just likes to keep her stuff up and tight. And that's actually the customer we're looking for. So the site inspection is discovery. Then we put together a quote and we build the materials out. We times it by 3. That's our price. That's how we do it. It gives us plenty of room and it makes us profitable. Let's not say highly profitable because I think that's unfair. It's not true. It's just profitable. And then on our sales call, we can discount the job 5%. But on the sales call, Nara's doing discovery. She's like, have you hired a contractor before? What's been your experience? What are you looking to accomplish? Once this gets accomplished, what are you going to do with it? So she's trying to get an emotional pull and get as much objections as she can. And then what she does is she goes through a presentation to add value on who we are, the brand, the foundation, the communication. And then when we go to the price, she starts handling objections. Yeah, I'm still getting quotes. It's like, okay, well, did you already get quotes? It's like, yeah, I did actually. And were they cheaper than our price? Yeah. Well, why didn't you go with them? Well, I didn't like the fact that they didn't do communication. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. It's like, right. I agree with you. It's like, I wouldn't have went with them either. So now you have that on the table. She gets them to move forward. I can't remember what else I was thinking. Someone just left a comment. How do I get my wife on board with business? Okay. I'm going to change gears a little bit because I want to answer this question because this is what this is designed for, right? Well, I can answer this question because I got my wife on board, and I'll tell you exactly how I did it.
Me too.
Right?
Yeah.
It's money.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's money. It's like when I started Dude's company, And Nara saw the first month we did 30,000. It got her attention. And you know what's funny is, isn't that what gets our attention?
Yeah.
It's like my wife wanted to do an influencer. She wanted to be an influencer, and she got a brand deal, and then she got paid. And I'm all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I'm all about it. I love influencers. Yeah. It's like, it's like, oh, okay. I didn't know you could make money. So
Yeah.
now, I think the real question he's asking is, how do you get her on board with the vision? How do you get bored where she's working as a fucking slave and she's doing all the work administratively for free? Isn't this kind of what we do with our wives? Because I know I did. Nara worked like a goddamn slave owner for 3 years before she even got paid. Well, obviously a woman's going to be committed to the business because it's family. It's a family business. So naturally that's going to happen. But to really have your wife get on board is you have to pay her a salary. You have to give her a nice office. You have to give her all the tools that she needs to be successful, right? You have to give her a team of people that she can lead, where she feels like she's doing something purposeful and fulfilled. And that doesn't take too long. But if you're deliberate about it, your wife is going to start skyrocketing in your business, and she's going to start producing income. Like you can see that with Nara, right? Like she really takes this business serious, right? You there?
Yep.
What do you think about what I said?
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that's what really gets your wife on board. Women want to be fulfilled. They want to feel like they have a purpose, and they want to get paid. They want to have spending money, and they want to be able to not ask you about that money, right? They want to be able to buy whatever they want without having to beg you for it, right? I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I can agree with that. I guess there's a couple different options on what you mean by getting your wife on board. I kind of went a different route, where I wanted my wife on board with the business, but I didn't necessarily want to impact her with all the stress and um, the other aspects of business. So I kind of went a different route with it. Um, and I, I'm happy with that decision. We're both happy with it. And my wife is a stay-at-home mom, and she does homeschooling with the kids and stuff like that. And I just, I'd rather not have. My wife is 100% behind our business and backs me every way, every step of the way. Um, but I just wanted to go a different route and not have to put her in those situations. But the way that I kind of got her on board was with me being a truck driver, my health was going down. Talked about the opportunities that we have, the way it could change your life, for the both of us. And it was just kind of like you know, what your life could be like in the future, and my wife has always been, there to be behind me and all the decisions that I've wanted to make. So she's very supportive. It
For
wasn't,
sure.
it wasn't kind of down that road that you were talking about, it was different, but
No, I think that, wow, that was such a good perspective too, because it's two perspectives. It's like one perspective is I want my wife working in the business, right? And one
yeah,
perspective is I need my wife to support me while I do
right,
this. And I
yeah,
think that that's really important because in all reality, your wife had to relocate to an area she didn't even know to
yeah,
this to an idea, not even something tangible. It's like this is a fucking idea. It's an idea. It's like
yeah,
okay, and it's like, have you done this before? I ain't never done it. And she's like, I'm with you, and
yeah,
I think that is huge. I think that's very huge. That and how much men need that support. Men are very like go getters and all that stuff, and we'll do shit that is uncomfortable. But in all reality, I think every man needs support in one way or another.
Yeah.
For me, like that was a great perspective, and I think you're 100% true. And I think for me, it's like Nara wanted to be in the business, and I could tell. And Nara is a very like she likes it. She likes to be part. Like she wants to work. You know what I mean? Like no, what I mean by that is not saying that a woman that doesn't want to do that doesn't want to work. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think that I'm learning that there's different personalities in women, and we can't put them all in a box, right? And I think I'm learning that the hard way. That I think us as mankind, or whatever you want to call it, the human race, we keep trying to put everybody in boxes. And I think I'm one that if a woman wants to be in a business and she wants to fucking learn sales and be an influencer and do all that shit, it's like fucking let's go, right? As a man, it's like let's go, let's do it. And then if your wife is like, look, I want to be your support role. I want to stay at home. I want to hold the house down. That is a massive amount of responsibility and the same amount of work, just different. And I think that you can't force. I think you know the whole package that we're talking about here is that if your wife doesn't want to be in the business, good fucking luck. You know what I mean? It's like I've learned with women is that let them do what they want to do. If they want to be in the business, let them be in the business. If they don't want to be in the business, don't fucking force them to do it because that ain't going to work. That's going to destruct everything you're doing, right? Don't you agree with that a little
Yeah.
bit, or do you have? And it's
Yeah.
okay to have a different opinion.
Yeah. No, I do agree with it. And I think for me, my wife did want to be in the business, and I think she still does.
Okay,
I just think that at the stages we're in right now, it just hasn't been the right timing yet.
totally.
Um, so there's always room to adjust as you go. You know,
Yeah,
you can always change stuff up as you go.
yeah.
And
Like I knew a guy. He was 9 years in his business, and his wife had a full time job working at some factory. She was, she hated her job, but he took out a business loan and scaled his business so much so that his wife got on board. And it was 9 years
yeah,
later. It was on his like 11th or, you know what? I think it was his 12th year of business, if I'm not mistaken. He held it down for 12 years. And on the 13th year, his wife got on board with him. And actually, but what did he have to do? I'll tell you right now, if you want to be successful with your spouse, do not get in the same field with her. And this is going to be for the audience. You get your wife on board with your business. She needs to be in a completely different department, 100% separate from you. This is what I would have to say from my success that I've had. Me and my wife do all of our businesses together. This is coming from experience. That you let her run the department that she wants to run, and you respect her. You treat her like a wife. You can never treat her like a partner. You have to treat her like a wife. And then if she's thriving in that department, let her do her thing. She'll do it.
right.
She's got your back. She's your number one. She's a person you can count on more than anybody. You can trust her. If she's trustworthy, right? But by then you should know. But I'm like this, like putting your wife in operations, making her do jobs, making her do the shit that we do. It's not going to work. I don't really think so. You guys are going to
No.
be killing each other,
Yeah.
and then you got to go to bed with that person. It's like good
Yeah.
luck.
Right. Yeah, I think for me, like I've got so much stuff going on at home. You know, I got 4 kids and all
Yeah,
that stuff. And me just jumping into this, and I still had a lot of learning and growing to do and everything. I just kind of wanted to keep it separate at the time, and just have my wife there for support, which she does, and
which is
it's
huge.
amazing. Yeah, it's awesome. And I was kind of wanting to, don't get me wrong, it's kind of thought, crossed my mind, like we both were running into, business together, and then we got family life at home, and then, I have this thought of like, well, what if we become more like business partners instead of a marriage, and I, me being new, I didn't know, which way it would go or how to even handle that. So in this situation, I kind of just wanted to, you know, kind of take the reins here and lead and kind of keep them separate.
I I would do that. You know, I was business partners with Nara, and it's better that we separated, and it's a
Yeah.
good thing. And I would recommend everybody watching to. You don't want to be in bed, dude. Imagine if me and you were in bed like that. Me and you even have to keep a professional. I'm being serious. We have to keep a
Yeah.
professional relationship. Yeah, you know what I realized? This is true. What I just said. I've been in business, or I thought about being in business with people that were like, uh, I almost went into business with people that wanted to be equal, and it don't work. I don't think 50-50 works. And I think this is what I'm trying to say. If you try to go into business with your spouse, 50-50, where you guys are running it and you guys are button heads, it don't work. You have to compartmentalize. You have to be like, and this is with every successful business out there, you have to say, here is your roles and responsibilities. Take care of that. Here is, Brian's roles and responsibilities. Now take care of that. Here's Nara's roles and responsibilities. Now take care of that. And you let everybody be in their department and you let them thrive in their department. And there is absolutely structure. And I think when people try to do this wild, wild west thing of like we're 50-50, we're 50-50 on decisions, it don't work. I've seen it 1,000 times. It just does not fucking work at all. It's a disaster. Right. It's like you're butting heads, you're arguing about stupid shit, and it's like it don't fucking work. And it really doesn't. I would never, ever suggest to anybody, this is my golden rule. Don't ever go 50-50 with anybody unless it's a joint venture. And what that means is this. Hey, we're going to flip a house. We're going to do it together. We're going to split the work. It's going to be me and you, and we split the profits. Cool. Do that one fucking time. Maybe do it twice. But if you guys go into the real estate business, it's not going to work. Yeah. So that's a joint venture. That's 50-50. Hey, let's buy this car and sell it 50-50. Okay, let's do it. One fucking time, 50-50. That works. See, and someone said, I've done that and got burned because it don't work. You already know the story I had about this 50-50 shit. It's a fucking nightmare, dude.
Yeah.
A lot of the times it's stupid. It's like, it's just dumb, dude. It's just dumb. It's like, oh my God. And then you have to be 50-50 with a dumbass who doesn't know what they're doing. You got to argue with them. It's like, dude, you could have took your business to a new height, but you're so fucking filled with ego because the idea didn't come from you that you just destroyed the whole deal. So, and I'm telling you, I have years of dealing with that, of great deals falling apart because of ego. So, yeah, this was awesome. And nobody really asked questions about business, how to start a business. So what I want to do is we're kind of ending this up, is just kind of let everybody know that I'm going to go live on a regular basis. And if you have strategic questions on how to actually start a business from the ground up, you throw out your business idea. I want to start a lawn care service. I want to start a mechanic shop. I want to get into online sales. I want to become a coach. I want to start a clothing line. I mean, I've done it all. We're going to talk about how to actually do it. And what I'm hoping for on this video is that you will actually get the information to literally start the business and do it. It's like, fuck it. It's free coaching. And you guys have no idea how valuable this is because I've done it so many times that the answers I give you are going to be legit. It's like, it's going to be real fucking answers. That's going to help. I mean, did we not dream about Charlie Company? It wasn't even Charlie Company.
Yeah, we did it. No, it wasn't.
It expanded into Charlie Company, and this brand is dialed the fuck in. Let me just reiterate.
Yeah.
We did $500,000 in gross revenue sales. We had 35 million views on Instagram and Facebook organically. We have 19,000 followers on Facebook. We have 600 or 700 on Instagram. We got Trex Pro certified. We got a contractor's license, and we have hella 5-star reviews. We got vendor relationships, net 30, and we got fuel cards. We bought the guys a truck. We got you a truck. I bought a truck. And then we're transitioning over where you're going to be running the company more as the CEO. That's like you're acting CEO. So eventually you're going to take over Nashville, and then we're going to grow from there. So we know what we're doing. And I want to create a channel where people can come in and start talking about real fucking business, not the bullshit, not fairy dust. It's like, I want to start a business. This is how you do it. Yeah. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. We've done it with $0.
Yeah. People
You
think
know,
I think a lot of people think it's bullshit. It can't be done, but we did it.
we did it. And
And we're
even the
willing
other
to help
businesses,
and willing to help people out to do it again.
yeah. So it's like, to caveat on this, in 2026 already, I launched a coaching business. It's actually not a coaching business. It's a mentorship. It's $50 a month, and it's going to be just like this, but way more dialed in. Started that with $0. Started the podcast. Started the marketing company, and NAR's an influencer actually already getting brand deals. Started it with no money. All of it was with no money. And any business I start from here on out for the rest of my life will be with no money. You don't need money to. You learned that when we saw those $100 million guys that run business that didn't want to give me, like I was asking them for an investment, where they're like, I'm not going to give money. And then what was their advice to me? You don't need money. You don't need money to start a business. And it was a reminder of what I already knew. You don't need money. Yeah. You have to get the business started. Let me just say this so people don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you're not going to need money. Okay. I don't want people to get twisted here. You want to get the business to a place where you start getting investments, you start getting bank loans, you start doing those things, but you actually, I wanted to talk to you about this anyway. This is good. I'm going to bring it up. There's a term called over leveraging. And over leveraging is a very serious and critical term that we use in business, is when you have too many debts and not enough income. You over leverage the business and the business is on the brink of bankruptcy. This is a very critical stage of your business that you don't want to be in. So if you get an investor involved in your business or you get a bank loan, you are over leveraged. You have no income. You don't have any proof of income. You have an idea that doesn't have proof, and you're getting a fucking bank loan or you're getting an investor over something that doesn't even work. The only way that you're going to get any kind of investment is if you prove the model. You got to make money. And you saw that because we actually got finance. We got money, or we're getting money.
Yeah.
So we proved the concept. We did $500,000 in 6 months. And what did the investors say? You're fucking onto something.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, dude, you did that in 6 months with no money. Okay, you got my attention. It's because you can scale something. You can't scale nothing.
Right.
And I think people need to understand this about business, is that when you get in the business, if you're crazy enough to start a business, which is the dumbest thing you could ever do, I'm just going to be honest, without the skills, it is.
Oh God, we're sitting here telling people how to start a business, and then we're telling them it's the dumbest thing you could ever do.
I don't want to get any kickback. I don't want someone to be like, I started the business, it was the worst fucking thing I ever did. I'm like, I told you not to do it.
No, we once never said it was going to be easy, right?
Yeah. It's actually the worst idea you could ever do. I mean, really it is. Especially since you don't know what you're doing. I mean,
but if you pull it off, the reward is fucking great, dude.
That's the difference. What you just said. If you can actually get your concept to work, because it's like, I want to start a mechanic shop. It's like, dude, what's different between your mechanic shop and everybody else? Because then you're competing on price. And if you're competing on price, you might as well shut the doors down. Okay. Really.
Yeah.
Like, even us, we're not competing on price. Like lady today, she's like, I care about price. It's like, I don't think we're a good fit for you. Have a nice day. I could have drove my price down to match where we don't make any money and we install a fence for free. Or I could be like, hey, listen, ma'am, we're probably not the company for you. Go get some other dumbass to go out of business and do your job. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. And that's a hard concept too for people. But yeah, starting a business in the investor world, like, just so you guys know, this is the fucking truth. And it is. And I'm so happy we can end on this note. Starting a business is the worst investment that any investor would ever do. It's the worst investment. Startups are the highest risk, period. If somebody were to come to me and say, hey, Brian, I got a startup business and I want you to invest, I would run. I'd be like, there's no fucking way I'm giving you money for this concept. Which brings me to my next point. The best thing you could ever do if you're an investor is buy businesses. So, like, look at us. We have the systems, we have the processes, we have the marketing. So I want you guys to see this picture here. We have everything it takes to have a successful business. So why would I start a business? Why wouldn't I just buy one? Get some dumbass who's been in business for 30 years, who doesn't understand marketing, leads, sales, but somehow this dumbass made his way into the community, He knew everybody, and people felt bad for him and gave him work. It's typically what it is. Eventually, he built a network. Everybody started using him. I come in, I rebrand his company. I start running leads. I start doing social media marketing, grow his Instagram and Facebook accounts. I go into his business and realize he ain't ever pulled out a business loan. So I use his business and his income that he already has, and I get a loan immediately, day one. So I don't even need money to buy it because I use a loan that I acquired from the business to buy the business. This is next level shit. Okay. But if you're out there, here's the caveat. If you're out there and you're like, I'm a hard worker, I'm willing to learn, and I want to start a business because it's my dream, and you have the grit and you have the tenacity to do it, if you can hang in there for 5 years, that's when it becomes good. That's when you can start leveraging. You could start getting into real estate. You can start doing all those things. It's a 5-year plan. It's a 5 to 10 year plan. And you have to understand that. You're going to be broker than you've ever been broke. You're going to have, you're not going to be able to do things that you typically could do, like at night, watch Netflix. Those days are gone. Your first 5 years, those days are gone. You already experienced that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't get no time, dude.
But you do have a coach and you do have a mentor, and we're already seeing massive success. And this year we're going to do between 1.2 and 1.5. People say, why don't you ask for 2 million? It's like, because it's slow, steady growth. I don't want to do $2 million. I want to do between 1.2 and 1.5. And then next year we'll go from there, right? So that's it. I think this was a great video. I hope some people got some value out of it. Let us know if you got some value out of this. The video didn't even start until 8 minutes. I guess Steven's popular because everybody got on as soon as you got on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was talking to myself.
Oh, you should have asked me to join earlier.
Yeah, I should have. Next time I will. I didn't know you were so famous. So I think it was a good video. If you guys have questions, you want to start a business, drop it down here in the comment section below. Let us know the business, and then when we go live again, we'll talk about it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, dude. See you.
Yep.